Good morning to the new year. It's vexing for me to figure out how can you safely protect yourself without going to jail or without, mm, I guess because my goal was not trying to scare my kids away if I do protect myself, to hear of, my children being afraid of me. The Marine Corps has quite the gruesome training. And I would say the scariest part about that training was that it was not hard for me. I always wanted to improve it and make it harder. To build more discipline. I've been homeless for almost a year and 4 months. And from what went I once thought it was just my wife or ex-wife, future ex-wife to be causing up a lot of trouble for me, making certain that I stayed at my mom's house, grandma's house for, make sure that I was homeless for a year because she did not want to get this divorce, or she didn't want to give me um, a fair divorce. She wanted we can get a divorce long as I was willing to agree to everything that she wanted, and then I could have got a divorce then and there. But since I wanted a fair divorce where I wouldn't lose my kids, now I'm here at this point. Can't even get the judge to set up a court date yet so I can get a divorce. It's very frustrating. Be careful who you hook up with. Be careful who you call your friends and family. So, on the second note, I'm thinking that perhaps since a lot of this stuff seems to be going on way longer than before the time I met her, that she is just another tool that was meant to change the life that my mother wanted for me. Mm. I used to be a child who didn't want to fight at all. Even when I was young, I got to my first fight, ran home, and I was like, I don't want to fight. You know, I was taught not to fight. And then the next day, kid came, my sister stepped in, and I didn't want to see my sister get hurt. So, I went from being scared to being protective. And I got extremely violent. He was a young kid. He had a knife. But still, I was still scared during that time. I didn't want to fight. But when you got the women in your household trying to fight the fights and make the fights happen, and you try to make sure the women don't get hurt, you get caught up in the middle. I guess that's what they call the blend. Mm. I didn't like that at all. Another thing that's kind of funny to me is that my younger brother, he used to always be a crybaby. But when it came to that fight, he stepped forward before me. He jumped forward before me. And me, I seen that kid with a knife. I was like, oh, this kid got a knife. It's another kid with a knife. Don't, not a smart move. I'm thinking that from that time and even before that, that maybe a lot of scenarios of events was meant to kill me. Like I stated, I kind of grew up with no rules other than be obedient, you know, do as you're told, you know, stay in a child's place. Children are meant to be seen, not heard, that kind of stuff. And I just, I just did it. I did exactly as I was told. Never to ask questions until it was done. Guess now I'm asking questions because now I'm done with my murder plots. It went from conspiracy because it was never successful to now simple things that you would take as an everyday bad event, you know, robbery, arguments, stuff like that. It seems to be intentionally put into place to happen. For me to behave in such a negative way that whatever I'm trying to do for my future would be stopped either by the cops, either by my enemies, either by my wife, either by my mom, brothers and sisters, cousins, all of them. You'll you'll think I've been and had a life insurance policy set out on me this entire time. I'm not getting any kind of good sleep. It'll be like the spirit of God will wake me up and be like, go, let's go for a drive, and I do that, trying to avoid what I know I can do, who I can be, what I can be. This is nothing to brag about. Babies can fight, you know? Babies are born ready to fight. So there's nothing special to me about that. I'm not saying nothing special about babies other than, being born and the love and, you get out from 'em. But baby animals can fight. A cub has claws. babies, human babies, have sharp fingernails, teeth, and they can scratch and bite and punch and pinch and yell, scream in your ear. Hmm. I try not to look into too many things that makes it seem like. Mm. I try not to make myself paranoid, but it's like, what if all this was put together just to have you to tear it down? I would ask, why? I would want to know why. If anything, I've been confused my whole life, doing as I was told. And I guess now I just got one more time to question, and nobody wants to answer. Because I guess I done already peeled the layers of the onion back so far that now it's down to the bulb, the seed. I've never been one to believe in voodoo or anything like that, but I do believe in coercion, gathering enough people, because like I like to say in this world, if there's anything worth of value other than God, it would be the people. What is money if no one is willing to work for it? What is gold and war if no one is willing to die for it? What would it mean? And in some sad sense, a lot of people will prefer not to even think about that. I had people tell me that they would rather they'd rather have like go back to the days of king, queens, and peasants. And I mean, they don't mention about wanting to live as a peasant, but I'm like, if we're living as peasant like now, do you not think you would be a peasant in that time frame? But they're just okay with just being ruled, being told what to do, not having to think of how to do something for themselves. And that was scary to me, to not want anything other than what's given to you. I mean, granted that if you want to build a house, you got to get trees from somewhere, you know? But I mean, like, if you have a family and you want to take care of your family, instead of going out cutting that tree down and building your house, you'd rather someone supply the wood, and then next thing you know, you don't even own that house. So by the time the person who gave you the wood for that house says, I want my wood back, you gotta give them their wood back, or you gotta give them the house. But some people flip value. Oh, I put this much time into that piece of wood. Uh, just throw me a little something extra on the side, so I don't feel like I completely lost. It's That's just got to be one of the saddest jokes ever. To not take your life serious, to not take your future serious, to be willing to brush off problems and push them on to your kids and your grandkids, and having that mentality of, oh well, I'll be dead before X, Y, and Z happen, hopefully. Who stole our ambition? When I grew up hearing of all the Martin Luther King, Malcolm X's and stuff, I didn't give that too much of praise, other than the fact that they chose to bravely go up against something that seemed pointless. And even though they got tricked, that trick allowed us to learn, or gave us a chance to learn that, hey, you know, you're still not out of the system yet, type of stuff. We just found another way to get you, you know. We got more paperwork for you. We got more rules against you. We got, uh, I'm not calling for like no civil war or anything. It's just power in numbers, you know. Back to the whole thing of cult like activity. I don't believe in it, but I do believe in the power of numbers. You gather enough people, things can happen. Things will shake. Things will move. So I've been, even though I've been homeless, I've been trying to, you know, save money and not sleep out in the streets all the time. And whenever I do, it'll be like a movie, like, oh, he done swiped his card, spent some cash, put his signature down here, and, seeming like people was just waiting at my door, waiting for me to go to sleep. I don't like that at all. I don't like feeling stalked. I never did. I always reacted erratically. And I feel like this is another one of those moments to catch me acting erratically. But now I'm an adult, aware of ramifications. I can't act erratically. If I want to save my kids, do I have no choice but to be a victim? Do I have to be a victim to save my kids? I don't know.